You ever notice how quiet it gets when people think you've finally broken? When they believe they've buried you so deep, you'll never crawl out again. That's when they get comfortable. That's when the whispers start. They thought I'd shatter. They thought I'd disappear into the silence, swallowed whole by everything they threw at me. But what they didn't realize is that silence isn't the end. It's the beginning of something they can't control. They saw the fall. They never stayed to see the rise. They laughed while I was bleeding, thinking pain was a sign of weakness. But pain doesn't destroy me. It builds me. Every scar they gave me became armor. Every insult became fuel. And while they were busy watching me collapse, I was learning how to rise without noise. They wanted a show. They wanted screaming, crying, a dramatic collapse. What they got was silence. And that silence, it scared them. Because silence means you're not wasting energy on explaining. You're not begging for understanding. You're not trying to be seen. You're planning. You're growing. You're about to do something they can't predict. They thought I'd break because that's what they'd do if they were me. They thought I'd fall apart under the pressure they created. But they don't know me. They don't know what happens when everything inside of you burns and nothing outside of you listens. That's not where people break. That's where monsters are made. So let them believe I'm done. Let them sit with their pride, thinking they've won. Every second they rest is one step closer to the reckoning. They won't hear it coming. They won't know what hit them, because I won't scream. I won't warn. I'll just arrive. And when I do, they'll remember every word they said, every look they gave, every time they turned their back and thought I'd stay on the ground. This isn't revenge. This is return. Not for them. For me. To take back the space they tried to erase me from. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove myself right. Because I didn't break. I evolved. They say time heals, but time didn't heal me. It sharpened me. While they moved on like nothing happened, I stayed in the wreckage, piecing myself back together with broken glass and bitter silence. Every second in the dark made me colder, stronger. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped chasing closure. And slowly, they stopped mattering. You see, people expect you to stay down when they knock you off balance. They think silence means surrender. But silence, it's survival. It's preparation. It's the space between impact and retaliation. And I used every second of it. They didn't hear my pain because I didn't give them the satisfaction of my scream. They didn't see the war inside me because I fought it behind calm eyes. And while they thought I was fading, I was transforming. I didn't return the hate. I didn't beg for answers. I didn't try to fix what they broke. I became something they couldn't reach anymore. Something too far removed from their games. They tried to define me with weakness. I defined myself with resilience. It's funny, isn't it? The same people who push you off the edge get confused when you start flying. They thought I'd fall apart. Instead, I built wings. Out of rage. Out of silence. Out of every moment I held back what I really wanted to say. Let them pretend they won. Let them speak my name like it's a rumor from a past they no longer recognize. I don't need to defend myself. My existence is the proof. My presence is the consequence. I don't want them to understand me anymore. I want them to wonder how I'm still standing, how I'm still breathing, how I turned everything they threw at me into fuel. Because when silence becomes your strategy, no one sees you coming. And that's exactly how I want it. I didn't just survive. I rewrote the rules. They wanted to break me, but I became unbreakable. Not because I had something to prove to them, but because I had something to prove to myself. That I could walk through hell and not come out begging. That I could lose everything and still not lose myself. Every time they looked away, I built in silence. Every time they talked, I listened. I let them think I was weak, that I was gone, that I had nothing left to fight for. And that was my power. That was the beginning of their end. They never realized that people like me don't scream when we're angry. We go quiet. We calculate. We build storms behind closed doors. We let our pain shape us in silence. Until one day we walk back into the room and everything changes. Now they're starting to notice. Now they're feeling the shift. They can sense it when I walk past. That something's different. That I'm no longer trying to be heard. I'm no longer trying to be liked. I'm not trying at all. I've become what they never expected. A storm without warning. And you can't reason with a storm. They'll try to reconnect. Try to act like they always believed in me. But I don't need validation from people who vanished when it mattered most. I don't need apologies spoken too late. I don't need closure. I am the closure. If you're still watching this, you're one of us. The ones who rebuild in silence. Who rise alone. Who don't beg to be seen. We make ourselves impossible to ignore. Subscribe now and turn on the bell. If this hit your soul, you're exactly where you need to be. You ever notice how quiet the world gets when you stop chasing people? When you stop explaining, stop justifying, stop bleeding for those who wouldn't lift a finger if it was you drowning? That's silence. That's power. That's when they start to notice. Not because you screamed, but because you didn't. I stopped talking and they panicked. Not because I said something wrong, but because I said nothing at all. That silence made them uncomfortable. It made them look in the mirror and see everything they projected onto me, staring back at themselves. They used to own the room with their words, but now I walk in and say nothing, and somehow the energy shifts. Not because I'm louder, but because I've become something they can't predict, something they can't control. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's not even about proving a point. It's about claiming what's mine with no noise, no drama, no announcement. Just presence. Just pressure. I don't speak their language anymore. I outgrew it. I don't play their games. I flip the board. They push me to this edge. fed the rage. And now they wonder why I don't smile like I used to. Why I don't answer their calls. Why I look past them like they were never there. Because they were never really there. Now they call it cold. Now they say I've changed. Good. That means it's working. That means the silence is doing what words never could. This version of me doesn't come with explanations. It doesn't beg. It doesn't warn. It doesn't wait. It walks in. It takes what's earned. And it doesn't look back. I remember everything. The smirks, the eye rolls, the way they looked at me like I was something small, disposable. Like my silence meant I didn't have a voice. Like my calm meant I didn't have fire. They mistook restraint for weakness, patience for permission. But all they did was buy me time. Time to learn. Time to build. Time to become. See, when you're silent long enough, you start to hear everything more clearly. The fake support, the backhanded compliments, the doubt in their eyes when they said they believed in you. I heard it all, and I let it sit, let it settle, let it grow roots deep in the fire they tried to smother. Now that fire's out of control, they want the old me back. The quiet one, the soft one, the one they could ignore, manipulate, dismiss. But that version of me is gone. And in its place is something they don't recognize. And that terrifies them. Because I'm not playing defense anymore. I'm not waiting to be chosen. I'm not looking for space. I'm taking it. Every time they said, "You'll never make it," I engraved that into my bones. Every time they laughed, I planted that pain like a seed. And now they're watching what grew from it. Something relentless, something silent, something dangerous. They'll say I changed, and they're right. But I didn't change to hurt them. I changed to save myself. Absence. And once they left, once they showed me exactly who they were, I stopped pretending. I stopped shrinking myself to fit into spaces that were never meant for me. That silence they feared, it became my language, my edge, my identity. I'm not here to be understood. I'm here to be undeniable. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. I won't interrupt. I won't defend. Because every lie they speak about me only echoes louder in the silence I've weaponized. I became the thing they whispered about, the presence they can't ignore, the shadow in the room they pretend not to see. They thought they buried me in the dark, but I was planted. And now I've grown into something they can't uproot. Every step I take is calculated. Every breath is mine. They can't follow. They can't mimic. Because you can't fake what was forged in fire and silence. This isn't a comeback. This is the version of me that was never allowed to exist. Until now. And now, they'll watch everything they once doubted burn in front of them. Not because I screamed, but because I didn't. Now tell me, what's the one moment that made you stop explaining and start moving in silence? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your turning point. And if this one hit you deep, check out these next. Kill them with your silence. Or, they made me a monster. Now they'll fear my name. Your path doesn't end here. Your rise just started.